Welcome, welcome. This is the very first episode of In the Making, where I interview artists of all kind about where they get their inspiration. I am your host, Treasure, and today we are with our very first guest, Ethan Montano!
Yeah, boy!
Alright, so Ethan is a musician.
Yeah.
And he plays the guitar and sings. Do you play any other instruments?
Yeah, I play piano and a little bit of violin.
Violin,
Yeah.
really?
And bass.
And what? When did you start doing that?
Bass, I started, I think, a few months ago because my friend Jackson has a bass, and I just kind of picked it up and was like, ooh, this is cool.
That's
So,
cool.
Yeah.
Did you play violin before you learned to play the bass, or after?
Before. I'm not very good, but I can do a little bit.
At least you're honest.
Yeah,
Good.
I am not very good at all.
You're good at piano, though. How long have you been doing piano?
Piano I've done for like 12 years, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I started really young with the piano teacher I've had I started with a girl named Ariel Driggs.
Okay, yeah, I remember her.
Yeah, and then I switched to Mrs. Hammond.
Mrs. Hammond,
Yeah,
she's
her.
really good.
So, yeah.
Cool.
And I've been with her forever until last year is when I stopped practicing.
That's when they
playing.
left, right?
Yeah,
they moved. Cool. How long have you been playing guitar for?
I think about 1.5 years now.
1.5 years.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
How did you learn that? Did you just pick it up, or did anyone teach you?
So I got a guitar in 4th grade.
Nice.
And I learned like one riff, and then I never touched it again. I think I learned Happy Birthday. I never touched it again, and then I heard like I got into Ed Sheeran, and then I was like, ooh, I want to play guitar again. So I picked it up and learned it really fast. It helps when you know piano.
It does.
Yeah, it helps a lot.
Yeah.
And I learned it fairly quickly.
So when did you listen to Ed Sheeran? When did he start to kind of influence you?
The first song I heard by him was obviously the A-Team on the radio, and I was just like, oh, I like this song, but I never knew who he was. And then like years later, I heard Don't by him.
Yeah, I love that.
And I was
one.
like, ooh, this is a jam.
That was really good.
And then I looked him up and I was like, oh, it's the same dude that does the A-Team. And then I just like memorized every single one of his songs after that.
The chords and stuff too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I went to his concert and like cried.
You went to his concert?
Yeah.
What year?
It was for my 14th birthday.
Wow.
Yeah, I like cried the whole time.
That's amazing.
I literally did. It was funny.
Who are some other artists that you really like that inspire you?
So I think we share this one, Frank Ocean.
For sure, yes.
Oh man. So,
he's so revolutionary.
Yeah, my favorite. There's a song on it's on one of his unreleased albums, and it's called Pyrite, and that song's like got just acoustic guitar in it.
I haven't heard that one.
I'll show it to you.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. And then he's got another song I love Self Control. The guitar in that one's beautiful.
That one's really
Those
good.
are like two that inspire me. And then White Ferrari. I love the background vocals in that one.
Yeah.
That one's beautiful. And
Do you like Ivy?
Yes.
I love Ivy.
Yeah, that one. The guitar is like all. It's got like the flange on it.
Yeah.
Like the flange. Yeah, that one's weird.
It's
I
really
love
good.
that song.
Blonde was such a weird album, but it
It's
was
beautiful.
so good.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's so good. I love that. And he Nostalgia Ultra. It's got a song on there called We All Try. That's beautiful too. I'll show you that one
I'll have
later.
to look that one up.
Yeah, and then Bon Iver. They inspire me a lot.
Did you see them in concert?
No,
No.
I want to.
You want to?
Really bad.
I've heard they're really good live.
Yes.
I saw them.
I have the Blood Bank EP, 22 A Million, and For Emma Forever Ago on vinyl.
Wow.
I love those.
Nice.
For Emma Forever Ago is my favorite album by him.
Why?
He's just got. The last song, the closing track is called Restacks, and it's 6 minutes long. It's like
Oh wow.
it's super simple,
Yeah.
but it's beautiful, and it's just like the same chords over and over again. It's just, I don't know, it's just pretty, and I like that, and I like the way he uses like brass instruments
Yeah.
in his in For Emma. The way he uses brass instruments in there is beautiful, and then 22 A Million, is cool because he uses a lot of vocal effects. and I use some of those in like some of the songs that I'm gonna do. And that one's like more experimental than his other ones, because the other ones were just like acoustic and folk. But
They're pretty traditional.
Yeah, but the new one is like a different way of inspiring me. So he like inspires me in a lot of different ways.
Huh.
And then
awesome.
obviously Ed Sheeran. I'd say Leon Bridges. Yeah, Leon Bridges. B.B. King, John Mayer.
Yeah. Did you listen to that one? It's on Channel Orange. I don't think you really like Channel Orange as much by Frank Ocean.
I like Channel Orange.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not my favorite.
He and John Mayer did a song together.
White?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's beautiful.
That was really good.
The bass in there is really strong.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. I turned it all the way up in my car and I was like, whoa, wow.
You can feel that.
And then the Daniel Caesar.
Oh, yeah.
Daniel Caesar.
What about Khaled? Do you like Khaled?
Khalid,
sorry.
Yeah. I mean,
he sounds to me, they sound a lot alike, he and Daniel Caesar.
He's more pop sound instead of R&B, but I there's this one song he had that was just a rough draft on his Twitter called Perfect. And that was pretty. I like that song. And then Amy Winehouse.
Ooh, yes.
Amy Winehouse. Her drum beats are juicy.
Yeah,
bro.
What about like Frank Sinatra or like Nat King Cole? Nat King Cole's musicality is.
It's Not Easy Being Green.
Mm-hmm.
That one's beautiful.
That one's really good.
I love that song. The violin.
Stardust.
Yes.
Stardust.
Beautiful. Frank Sinatra you obviously have to like Frank Sinatra.
Everyone likes Frank Sinatra.
Yeah.
So what are some specific albums besides the one that you mentioned that inspire you? Like maybe by Daniel Caesar? Or...
Okay. So Daniel Caesar came out with Freudian. And I love that album, but his first one, Trinity Bellwoods, I think that's what it was called actually. Let me look on my phone. I think it was called Trinity Bellwoods. No, Pilgrim's Paradise. Trinity Bellwoods is the opening track.
I love the one in Pilgrim's Paradise. What's it called? Streetcar. I love Streetcar.
There's a lot of emotional connection to Streetcar.
Yeah.
That album that EP has a lot of emotional connection to it. Death and Taxes, Streetcar are like two of the ones that like connect me to people.
Yeah.
I'd say another album, probably. Have you heard of Rex Orange County?
Yes.
Apricot Princess.
Yes, I love Apricot Princess.
Happiness. He's got.
I need to listen to that.
He's got. So he starts out with just piano. And this is like my favorite track on the album. He starts out with just piano and he's singing over it, and it's just like normal, regular singing. It sounds beautiful, and then at the very end he like stops for a second, and then he comes in again, and it's like a giant band. So it's pretty, and then it's got like electric guitar, drums, and like everything at the very end. It's crazy.
That sounds really cool.
It's very pretty.
I really liked his Apricot Princess because it started out really simple and sweet, and then it kind of goes into like a swing cha-cha.
I know.
Thing. I love that.
Yeah, and then I say one more album that inspires me a lot is probably Awaken My Love.
That one's really good. Childish Gambino is amazing.
Oh my gosh, that album! I have Camp on vinyl, and
oh my gosh,
that one's beautiful.
Camp's great.
But like he's got like hints of like leading up to Awaken My Love and like all his other albums.
Yes, he does.
Like in Kids, the way he sings and just like and then he
Camp album is a lot like Awaken My Love.
It's
just the chorus and everything, you know, in the background.
It's just when he sings, it's just like ooh. Did you see him perform Terrified at the?
I did. That was so good.
That was great. I loved that.
So good.
Yeah, and then obviously like Plus by Ed Sheeran. Favorite Ed Sheeran album.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Did you like Divide that much or no?
It was okay. I loved some songs, and then the other ones were just like eh. And then there were some songs that I hated.
Yeah.
Because like Ed's gotten so far into the music industry now, where it's super easy for him just to write songs.
Yeah.
So he has like Perfect and Supermarket Flowers. You can tell they're from the heart. But like Shape of You, man, I can't do that song.
I hate that song. Yeah.
Like I can sing it because it's catchy, but like it's not him.
It's not him.
Yeah.
I feel like that whole album was so much more poppy.
Yeah.
And you can just kind of tell that he's
Yeah.
getting lazier. You know?
Yeah, but I mean, who cares? He can do it.
Yeah,
he
he can do
wants.
it.
Yeah, so you know.
So with your music, what's your goal in making this? Are you trying to release an album, or are you just making it for you and your family, or what do you want to do?
So, I'm in the process of making an album right now, and it's not really for me or for other people. It's just for someone that I'm making it for, and that's pretty much all. I'm gonna release it.
When are you gonna release it?
By summer.
By summer.
Yeah, probably the first or second month of summer. Because I have almost all the songs written, but they're just on guitar or piano. So.
What instruments do you want to have in that?
So there's one song that I just wrote, and it's about. I won't tell you what it's about, but it's a song I just wrote. The song I just wrote, and it's just on guitar, right now, and I just want to add a little bit of background vocals and violin.
Just really simple.
Yeah. So most of my songs are like that. They're simple, but they have like one certain element to it that's just makes it pretty. So yeah, my goal is to release an album, just a debut album that probably nobody's gonna listen to.
Right.
But I don't really care.
I'll listen. A lot of people will listen. You have good stuff.
Thank you.
Really good stuff.
I just want to make it for that person. So.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what's something that affects the way that you create? Obviously, schedules are kind of hard when you're trying to write songs. How do you deal with that? Like, do you make time, put it on your calendar type thing, or does it just kind of whenever you have free time?
I'm really bad at this because I'll get home and I'll have a lot of stuff to do, but I'll just pick up my guitar and not do anything.
Yes.
And then I'll be like, it's okay, I'll only play it for like an hour, and then it'll be 10 o'clock at
3
night,
hours, yeah.
and I'll be like, I got homework and work and stuff, and I'm like, whatever, I made a good song.
Right?
So, and weekends are like a blessing because I can just play all day.
Yeah.
And there was one time when I first started playing that I played so much my fingers started bleeding.
Yeah.
That was crazy. But
that happened to me a few times, and
yeah,
you're just,
right?
it kind of is like a weird out of body moment because you're like, I'm not hurting, but my fingers are bleeding. Yeah.
There's no pain, but
yeah.
And like I think I don't think my busy schedule affects creativity or anything. I think something like people say that being sad is really good for writing songs, but I can't write songs when I'm sad. I don't have to necessarily be happy.
Right.
Like I don't have to be like, oh, in a good mood to write, but it's hard when I'm like sad because I don't want to do anything.
Exactly.
And your brain isn't working the right way.
Right.
So when I write best is when I feel calm and when I'm just surrounded by my instruments and when I'm surrounded by like things in my room. Like it doesn't even have to, like I have this painting in my room that somebody made for me, and it's really simple. It's just someone sitting on the edge of a cliff, and then the rest of it is like the sky painted in gold. And that's it, and I wrote an entire song about that. So I just have to be surrounded by things that inspire me and like things I love. And I don't even have to be happy, I just have to like be surrounded by those things.
Kind of have like your thoughts.
Yeah, and the way I write a song, because I wrote stories before I wrote songs, but songs are just stories that sometimes rhyme, but and have music to them. But I wrote stories before that, so when I started writing music, I wrote a story for my song, and then I would just write the song based on the story that I wrote. So now when I write songs, I think of an event in my life or like a story I want to write about, and then I write the song from there.
That's a really cool way to do that.
Yeah,
Do you find yourself like condensing the words of the story so that they're lyrics? Or?
Yeah, like one of my songs doesn't rhyme at all, and it doesn't really have a good flow, but it's just it's pretty because of the chords and because of like the words, because I was able to condense it in a way that told the story really well. And to me, at least. I don't know if anybody else will understand it. I don't know.
But honestly, yeah, I mean, if it makes sense to you and if it clicks for you, I think that's all that really matters.
And yeah, it's just things that surround me, and that's the way I write, and that's the way I write good songs. like when I write bad songs, I'm trying super hard. I mean, obviously I try super hard to write good songs still.
Yeah.
But like when I'm like thinking about just a really cliche thing that happened to me, I can't write a good song, and I use like, I always go to the same chords. But
it's hard not to.
yeah, and then I can't write a song when I go to the same chords. So when I like hear a new song or hear something and I'm like, ooh, that's cool, I try to figure out what they did, and then I'll come up with my own thing like based around what they did. Not necessarily the same thing, but like the same techniques that they use and stuff, and I'll come up with my own like chords and melodies and stuff like that. And that's kind of the process for that. So
that's really cool. What do you think was the weirdest thing you've ever gotten inspiration from? Where it just was like out of the blue and you're like, wow, that could be something really cool.
Okay, gosh. I have, this is weird, but
that's okay, it's supposed to be.
I was in, maybe that's inappropriate. Okay, I have this stuffed animal in my room.
Okay.
Okay, and it's just there. I don't know why. I don't know where it's from, but I have it, and it reminded me of something, and so I started writing about that, and it was cool, but it wasn't like enough. Mm-hmm. So I stopped writing about that, and I would just get into this weird state of mind, and I would think about like the most random things, and I couldn't write a song when I started thinking about that, and then I went out, and I went to Culver's, and I sat there alone, and I looked like a freak. I was sitting there.
You like a notebook, and you're like, why isn't it working?
Yeah, I was just sitting there. I didn't even have a notebook. I was just sitting there like eating my burger, and just like staring at the wall, and I was like, I looked like because I needed to get out of the house, because I couldn't think.
Yeah, it's hard to.
Yeah, so I was just sitting there, and then a song came on. I didn't even know the song, but some lady behind me was singing it. And I was like, that's funny, because she was a terrible singer. And I was like, and then I heard the song, and I listened to it, and I went home, and I wrote a song about what I just, like, went through.
Singing,
yeah, I just wrote about, and that was weird. I was like, why did I write about
That's cool, though.
this? But I connected it to, like, a memory that I had with that. Like, that, it's kind of hard to explain.
Yeah.
But hearing her sing in the restaurant connected me to a memory of something that I went through, like, a few months before. And it just reminded me of how beautiful it was. And that was weird, that reminded me of it. And I went home and wrote a song about it, and that's it. I have it, and I'm gonna use it on my album because I think it's good.
It's good, yeah.
So
Awesome.
it was just like random, like the stuffed animal to getting Culver's, and like I was just like, what?
So are you gonna give Culver's a part of your money when you?
They get enough money from me
them,
already.
Yeah.
Go there all the time.
So do you set deadlines for yourself? Like with your music? I guess summer's kind of a deadline.
Yeah, summer is a deadline, but so when I start writing a song, I'm like, if this isn't done and I like it by tomorrow, then I'm going to scrap it.
Wow.
So in my computer, I have loads of like GarageBand files that I just don't use anymore because I fell out of love with them.
Really?
So I was just like...
That quick?
Yeah, I just can't like work off a song that I made this one chord progression, and then I put like violins over it and like some horns, and then I listened to it the next day, and I was like, this just sounds like a mess, and I kept the file just in case, but I'm probably not gonna use that anymore.
Huh.
Yeah, so I have the deadline of like 2 days for a song, and then if it doesn't work, then I'm done.
So do you give yourself 2 days to write the lyrics too, and the like instruments and everything, or the vocals, or just like
for everything?
For everything.
So usually, there's a song I'm gonna play in a few minutes that took me 30 minutes to write.
Holy cow!
And it was, I mean, obviously I didn't finish it, write in those 30 minutes, but I wrote everything I needed to, and I had the exact guitar parts I wanted.
So you had enough.
Yes, and I had enough, and I was like, ooh, I love this. And then the next day, because it took me 30 minutes, the next day I tweaked it, and then I came up with the song I have now. And obviously I'm going to add like background vocals and stuff, but I think it's finished. I think it's finished.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So that's why I set that.
Minutes. Wow.
That's why I set that fast deadline, because I do write faster than normal. So if I dwell on something too long, I'll just lose or fall out of love with the idea.
Huh.
Yeah. Most songs that I write take me 30 minutes to about 2 hours.
Wow.
Yeah. Depends on how much I add to it.
Do you always get chords first in your mind, or do you get lyrics first in your mind?
Both. It doesn't matter. Just whichever I feel. I wrote a song yesterday that still doesn't have chords, but it's beautiful, so I'm gonna use it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter really. I do love chords though, so I usually start with those. But lyrics, if I love lyrics, then I do love lyrics, so if I write something that I love, then I'll be like, ooh, I'm gonna use this, and then figure out something later. Yeah. Usually when I write lyrics first, I don't fall out of love with the idea of the lyrics. I usually fall out of love with the sound of something.
It's easier to like lyrics because
yes.
each word has an attachment to an emotion or something, or people, or
Yeah.
But chords are hard.
Yeah. And it's hard because there's limited amount of chords.
Yeah, and you don't want it to sound generic. I always have a hard time with tempo too. I never know if something should be too slow or if it should be faster. You know.
I have your same problem, because the first time I recorded one song when I was still trying to figure out my sound. I mean, I still am trying to figure out my sound, but like when I was really trying to figure out my sound, and it was called what was it called? I don't remember. It was bad though. But I went to record it. And it took me and my friend like 3 hours just to get the right guitar.
Wow.
Like tempo.
The tempo.
Because I was so bad at the metronome.
It's hard, yeah. Oh, I hate metronomes.
And I texted him the other day and I was like, can we just record guitar and vocals at the same time? I do not feel like playing with a metronome.
Yeah.
The recording's my least favorite part of writing music.
Why?
Because it's so hard.
Just trying to get it all good.
Yeah. And I don't want to deal with all the technicalities of like time signatures and keys and.
Oh, I hate writing.
I mean,
composition's horrible.
Knowing piano, I know keys and I know time signatures and I know how to keep a tempo, but it's so annoying.
So do you write composition for all your songs, or do you just? I just have a notebook of like songs with the chord.
Yeah, so
above it.
I have.
Or do you have like actual sheet music?
So it depends on the kind of song. So for guitar songs, I'll just have the notebook like you do. But I do have instrumentals on there, and I have one song on there, and it's just piano, and it sounds like it's in a giant room and stuff like that, and it's cool because it's got like rain sounds over it.
Ooh,
yeah, and
I love that.
And it's got a lot of reverb on it, so it just sounds like it's in a big room.
I can't wait to hear it.
I'll show you.
Please show me.
Yeah, I'll show you in a second. But and I just wrote that, and I played it in Garage, or I plugged my MIDI controller into my computer, so I could get the score for it. So I have the score for that one. That's how I write scores, is I plug them in my MIDI controller into my computer, and I play on my keyboard.
That's smart.
But when I actually perform them, I use grand piano. Because
it sounds better.
Yeah, keyboards sound not very good.
So, did anyone ever say anything to you, like when you were a kid, when you were practicing piano, or like before you started to think of this album, that really pushed you to create? Or did anyone ever just say like, hey, then you got a good voice, you know, like what was it that you were like, hey, this is something that I'm actually enjoying and I'm good at?
So I think it was a mix of things. I did love piano. I hated practicing, but I loved it.
Yeah.
And my mom made me do it. Don't know why. She doesn't even play piano. Nobody in my family plays any instruments except my sister, who just started learning cello. So I just always like loved having my headphones in and listening to music. I remember I'm Yours by Jason Mraz was like my favorite song.
That was
when
good.
I was like 11.
I love Jason Mraz is amazing.
Yeah, so I would just listen to him all the time, and then I would sing along with it. And I remember I think I was at church, and I had my headphones in because we weren't doing anything, and I was just singing. and Greg Shields.
Yeah.
Greg Shields is like, Ethan, you should be in choir. You're good. And I was like, no, I'm not. He's like, yeah, you are. Because I was about to hit puberty. I was like terrible.
You're like, my voice cracks
every 5 seconds. And I was like, no, I'm not. And so I totally disregarded him for like 5 years. And I was
Dude,
like,
5 years?
Yeah, I was like, get out of my face. I don't want to hear about this. But
well, and he's like a choir freak.
Yeah,
he loves music.
Theater and choir.
Theater and choir, that's true.
And I also did musical theater as a kid, but I didn't think I was good either. I just liked it because I got to dress up.
Yeah. And
lots of girls were in it. I was obsessed with girls even
at
5 years
reason.
old. So I just kind of ignored him. I guess it wasn't 5 years, maybe like 3 or 4. But like I just ignored him because I was like, no, I'm not good. And then they made. I remember Greg's daughter. He made me sing with her, and that's when I like didn't have voice cracks anymore. Yeah. And I sang, and I was like, oh, I actually like this. And I was like, I'm kind of good. It's whatever. I'm kind of good. Yeah. And then I started getting into musicals, and I started like
watching them or performing them? Watching them?
Watching them. Just watching them. I lost interest in performing by that time.
Yeah.
And then I started listening to music and getting more in depth into it and like learning about it. And I was like, oh, I actually dig this. I'm gonna try to write my own songs.
Yeah.
So I would try, and I would suck, and then I would try again, and I would still suck. And then, I don't know, just one day I was like, oh, I wrote a song, and I like this one. And then I was like, now I'm going to make an album. So here we go. And
here we are.
Yeah, and it's going to come out soon. So.
Good old Greg Shields, man.
Greg Shields. Shout out to Greg Shields. Yep, my start.
He's awesome.
Yeah, he's great.
Cool. Let's see. Is there anyone in your life, not like Frank Ocean or Daniel Caesar or anything, but like somebody that you know that's an inspiration to you? Like any of your friends or anything like that are in music?
Yes, there's lots of inspirations to me. I mean, my album is about a certain person, but which I will not disclose. But and that's where all my inspiration's from, because it's the whole story of me and that person. But I have
cool.
Yeah,
from start to end, or I guess there's not really an end, but
there isn't an end, and it's that's another cool thing I was gonna talk about later. Is like my album ends, but it doesn't. So like there's room for more story. That's the way I wrote the album.
That's cool.
So you can make
a second album easily then.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I can write more music for that person.
That's beautiful. That's really cool.
I have lots of friends that are musicians. And I remember there was one night, this is when I first started playing guitar, and I wasn't very good. And this guy, he texted me, and he was like, yo, I heard you started playing guitar. I play guitar. Do you want to come jam?
Nice.
And I was like, okay. I wasn't very good. I played, I went over, I didn't know the dude. I'd never met him before.
You never met him before?
I knew who he was. He went to my school. He's
okay.
Cool. I mean, I knew, from what I knew about him, he was cool. So I went over to his house, and I remember he had like a really nice guitar there, so I was like, ooh, cool. So he was just like, alright, play these chords. And I remember I wasn't very good, so I was like, can you show me like, what the shapes are and
Please
stuff?
help me.
Yeah, he was like, oh, okay, cool, yeah. And he showed me the chords, and I just played it, and there were 2 other guys there that played guitar too. So I was rhythm, and they were doing lead, and it just sounded really cool. We were all having fun. And then I remember we went to go get food, and then me and the guy that invited me over went back by ourselves, and the other 2 guys left. And we just started like talking, and we were talking about life and stuff like that. And he was like, we were both opening up to each other. It was like 12 o'clock at night.
Deep moment.
Yeah, it was like really deep. We were just like opening up, and it was like 12 o'clock at night, so we were all tired, and we were just like, this is awesome.
This is beautiful.
I said I love you within like 50 minutes of that. No, I'm just kidding. But like, no. We started talking, and I picked up the guitar again, and we like wrote together. And he's such a good guitar player, and like he totally inspires me, and I love jamming out with him still. I still do. when I can. So he's a huge inspiration because he's got really good music.
Yeah.
And he tells me, he's like, man, you're so good. And I'm always like, man, you're so
That's
good.
awesome.
So we're always like inspiring
Hyping each other up. That's good.
Yeah. And another person that inspires me, Shannon Bringhurst. He's not musically talented at all.
He isn't.
But he's always like, man, when I get back, we're going to be so famous because I'm going to be your manager and we're going to go on the road. And I'm like, I love you, man. He actually emailed me the other day and was like, hey, man, miss you. Can't wait to see you on the billboards. And I'm like, oh, great, I love you, dude.
That's awesome. People like that you have to hold on to.
I know.
Because they're just there for you no matter what.
And yeah.
And even though he's like literally across the world, he's still rooting for you.
Yeah, and I was like, man, you're the best. And one of the biggest ones is my grandma. She'll like, I'll go over after I write a song, like, Grandma, do you hear my song? She goes, yeah, I'm gonna show me your song. And she'll be like, that made me cry.
Aww.
And I'm like, Grandma, I love you. And then like my family doesn't have a very good music taste, in my opinion. But my grandma has the best music taste. She'll wear like Beatles shirts and like freaking Jimi Hendrix shirts all the time.
No
and
way.
I'm like, Grandma, oh, you're groovy, man. And she'll be like, I showed her Brockhampton. Yeah. And she was like, this is cool. And I was like, yeah, man.
Yeah, Grandma.
Yeah, and I like showed her Frank Ocean's song. She was like, I love this.
No way.
Yeah, she was like, yeah.
Your grandma's too cool.
I know, right? Yeah, and one more person that inspires me a lot is my little brother and sister. Because my little brother will come in and be like, Ethan, can you teach me some stuff on guitar?
Oh, cute.
And yeah, and my little sister will be like, Ethan, play for me before I go to bed.
Aww.
And they'll always come in, and my little brother, he's 8, and he's like super, he's funny, but he like follows me everywhere, but it's kind of annoying, but I love it at the same time.
Yeah.
And I'll be playing, and he'll be like breathing down my neck, and then I'll hear, you're really good. And I'm like, thank you. And then,
you must have a little bit longer.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, thank you. So yeah, those are like the main people that are not artists that inspire me.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So what platforms are you on, just before we finish? You're on WordPress.
Yeah. So I don't have any social media.
No social media.
I do have a website. I'm probably going to get a Twitter. It's for my music, not for me. Mm-hmm. So I'll probably get a Twitter.
And you're going to be on iTunes?
Yes, I'll be on iTunes, Spotify, not SoundCloud. I don't want to do SoundCloud.
It's okay.
Yeah, I'll be on iTunes, Spotify. And yeah, I'll have a Twitter. I'll update things and I'll post music.
Is your name going to be Ethan Montano, or how can people find you?
I haven't figured that part out yet.
Yeah.
It'll probably just be my last name or something I'll make up.
Cool.
I don't really want people to be like, he's a Montano. I don't really like the public image idea, because my mom's always like, I don't want you to be famous.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I'll just go by my fake name.
Fake name.
Yeah.
Solves all the problems. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, so.
Well, cool. Well, thank you, Ethan,
You're
for
welcome.
being on the very first episode of In the Making.
It was
and
fun.
One day we'll have to have you back, and you'll be like a billionaire touring. You'll be on your 3rd world tour.
Hopefully, I mean, whatever, yeah.
Thank you to everyone who tuned in today with me and Ethan. Be sure to go check out his page. It's on WordPress. I'll have the link below. If you want to hear from more cool artists in the North Texas area, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. That's it for today. Y'all have a great weekend, and don't forget that you too are in the making. need you.